Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream. And the daily live stream content is really about the card draw that I do every morning. And so we get to have a conversation about that and share our insights, and actually even just to get caught up on who's doing what, and that kind of stuff. It's a community thing. Right. Kind of reminds me of spiritual roundtables. Yeah. George is with me today. And he's trying to find a decent place to lay down. You can go lay on the couch. Yeah, you can do that. He wants to lay down on the chair. I have my bag on. Hang on. Wouldn't you know, I put my messenger bag on the wrong chair. He's 4 months old, right? He's got an appointment tomorrow. It's kind of important. He is getting neutered tomorrow. And he likes his vet, which is always a good thing, right? It's going to be kind of a strange thing, I think, for him and for us, for that matter. All right, so before we get rolling with the card information, what I'd like to do is to share and like the live stream. So I'm looking for us right now. Here we are. And so I'm going to share it out to my personal news feed and let my friends know that I'm live streaming. Just takes a second, really, just to let them know and to ask them to please join. There. Get that posted. And then I think what I'll do is I'll share it out to the Star Nations Academy closed group. Okay, and then I'm live streaming. There we go. Let's make sure I get the right group here. There, that's done. Let's see, who's here today? Hey, Julie Hedges is here. Hello, Julie. Yeah, little George wants his chair. And of course, I moved my messenger bag for him to get up there. And he was there for like 2 minutes and then decided to get down. He's trying to find a comfortable place to sleep, is what he's trying to do. Hey, Stephanie, thanks for being here. I enjoy seeing you in the chat room. Yeah. Oh, good. Yay. Thank you, Julie. She says she shared it on the Tarot Journey page. Thank you so much, Julie. And so I'm going to, oops, got my sound up on my phone. There we go. Yay. Hey, Jackie's here with us too, and so is Rob Kendall. Hi, guys. And Connie just joined us. Hey, Connie. I'm so glad you guys are here with me this afternoon. On Monday, right? On Monday afternoon. Okay. I know that Thanksgiving falls like on, what is it, that third Thursday or the last Thursday of the month? No, I guess it's the third Thursday. I don't know why, but this year, having it there and having Paul home kind of messed me up a little bit, because I kept thinking yesterday was Monday. I was like, no, today's Sunday, not Monday. And so today feels a little weird because today is Monday. Too funny. Stephanie said, shared to a couple groups in my page. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. I do. And, the reason why we even, we do the like and the shares is so that the live stream ends up in the news feed much more often. And those people who are searching for this kind of information or this kind of community can find us so much easier, because you know what? There is just so much information and posts happening every second, isn't there? Because, if you go back to look for something, it's usually going, what happened to it? You're scrolling and yeah, if you don't know what to call it in the search and that kind of thing. So, so I appreciate you guys doing the likes and the shares. Hey, Julie Shumway Hills here too. Hi there, Julie. Glad you made it to the live stream. I appreciate it. Yeah, so so today's Monday, and so it's a good thing. It's a good thing I put notifications and alerts on my calendar, because otherwise I would have missed a business call this morning. Yikes! Don't want to do that. 10 minutes before the call happened, my alert went off, and I'm going, what? What's going on? It's Sunday, and so I take a look, and it's like, whoops, it's Monday, and I have a call in 10 minutes. It was a great call, and it turned out really well. But yeah, just needed to pull it together today. My goodness. There is a time, there's some time in my house anyway, because mom, pretty every day is pretty much the same for her, right? Whether it's a weekday or a weekend, doesn't matter. And depending on what's going on, I kind of go into that groove too. Many times, especially when I was teaching a lot, it wasn't so much the date or the day. It was, what's the next place I have to be at, and which class is coming up next, and not so much the day or the date, if that makes any sense. And so when I get kind of messed up this way, it takes me a little while to kind of get readjusted. Oh, maybe caffeine would help too. Who knows? That's a good excuse, isn't it? All right, so the card draw today is a card that we've had before, but this is the card. It is the White Witch. Yeah. I like the artwork. The artist for these cards, Lily Moses, I think she does a fantastic job. And the White Witch is about be the light. Be the light. Yeah. She's depicting one of the faces of the goddess, the mother or the maiden, and mother and crone, right? The triple goddess. And in the background, you can kind of see the pentagram back there. So definitely pagan. And with the owl and, everything the owl medicine stands for, right? Wisdom, silent flight, being comfortable and being able to see very well in the dark. And so, here we go. The maiden. Jackie says, I love this card. I do too. It's that when they're talking about being the light, right, is that you can actually see her glowing. That's what I mean about the artist. I mean, she actually got the glow in there, glowing from the inside out. Yeah, and I think I want to say that it looks like grapevines, doesn't it? In her hair, on her arm, the butterfly, transformation. Yeah, pretty cool. And at first, when I was reading, the first time I ever read about this card, I was reading about the owl, and they called it a horned owl, and I realized it's not a great horned owl. It is an owl. Maybe it's a barn owl, it looks like, maybe. But the horns that it has is really branches. Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, so let's find out what Kyle Gray, who is the author of the cards, what he has to say about the White Witch. Be the light. The message is, take the higher road and choose the light. Remove yourself from low energy experiences. Yeah. I mean, it sounds, and it is, I think, really good advice, right? It's a good message. That's what I think. Because when we remove ourselves from those low vibrational encounters, we'll call it that, it does several things. One is that it helps us to practice and put into application our skills, our life lessons, our education, both formal and informal. and also our gifts, right? It helps us to know how to apply those. And so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it also helps us with our discerning, because sometimes those low vibrational times, sometimes they can be rather subtle. They're not always right in your face. The ones that are right in your face, there's no mistaking them, not at all. But the subtle ones, so it helps us to discern, to learn how to make those kinds of decisions, right? Yeah. And I think that it also helps us many times, those decisions, discerning decisions, sometimes they're kind of hard, because sometimes you have to actually say no to somebody, or yes, you know. So when you're saying no to somebody, especially who the other person is, sometimes that can be difficult because you don't want to hurt them. And yet, in your discerning, in your spiritual team, asking them for guidance, or, they're telling you to walk away, to tell them no. And sometimes it's really, really hard to do. For some people, it's really easy. But then there's those of us who go, but I could help. There's a possibility I could help in some way. But those times, sometimes what happens is that we get drawn into something that it takes us a lot longer to get out of, had we just listened to the guidance and said no, as kindly as possible, to say no. Yeah. Hey, Rochelle's here. Good to see you, Rochelle. And Rob is saying it's a good horned owl, but not great. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. All right. So Kyle goes on to say that the white witch represents the maiden aspect of the triple goddess. The maiden is a gentle, innocent, and pure aspect of the goddess, a loving soul who wants nothing but the best for the whole earth. Here she is joined by a horned owl, showing that she's willing to respect those with more wisdom and experience than she has, but also willing to trust that what she feels to be right within. With this card, you're being reminded of the goodness within, So we all have that, right? That goodness within. And that's what we're discerning, I believe, when we have one of those lower energy experiences. We're discerning the light within ourselves and also within the other person, right? Because you can say no to somebody and still see their light and still shine your light. Easier said than done sometimes, but it is possible. And, we're always talking about discerning here at Star Nations, discerning for yourself. We have to sharpen that tool, hone that tool of discerning, because we use it not just in the spiritual sense, but also in the physical world. And that particular tool can be quite handy, don't you think, in that physical world? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Julie is saying, I think that's Julie. Wait, it could be Stephanie saying hi, Minnie, to Minnie. Yeah. Now, let's see. What did Minnie do? Because I don't see her in the oh, there she is. Happy snow day from Michigan. Oh my gosh, you guys got snow? Really? I know that we got snow in southern Wisconsin, down near Milwaukee area or south of Milwaukee. But we didn't get any snow up here at all. Yeah. Yeah, and thank you for sharing. We appreciate that. And let's see, we're going to scroll up just a little bit. Julie is saying the great horned owl is the nighttime medicine partner of the red-tailed hawk. That's right. Three partners, these partners like the wilds, yet the barred owl and the red-shouldered hawk live in old growth tree areas in the neighborhood or local parks, nearer to people cohabitating. Oh, she's getting that information from her Indiana Master Naturalist training. Thank you for sharing that, Julie. Really, it is. I did know about the red-tailed hawk and the great horned owl. I learned that with Ted Andrews years and years ago, and then I started watching. And sure enough, because we used to have a great horned owl that hung out around here when we first moved in, and also the red-tailed hawk used to come and sit in the taller pines during the day. So yeah, I saw that firsthand. But I didn't know about the barred owl and the red-shouldered hawk, that they lived in old growth trees. I like that. And oh my goodness, you guys got 5 to 6 inches. Holy smokes! Yeah, we don't even have any snow left on the ground. Yeah, we had 45 degrees the other Saturday, I think that was. Yeah, and this must be Stephanie. Beautiful, Julie. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. And Rob is saying West Michigan got hammered. Here in Lapeer County, we got less than 2 inches, but mixed with wind and rain. Oh, having that ice underneath and then it snows, makes driving really an interesting thing, doesn't it? Because, you're white knuckling the wheel. So I'm glad you guys all got through that safely. And yeah, 5 or 6 inches. Oh, that's lake effect snow, I would think. We, like I said, up here, northwestern Wisconsin, got 0. It's been flurrying, but nothing measurable, that's for sure. But one of these days, we live in Wisconsin, one of these days it's going to happen. So Kyle goes on to say that no matter what's happening to you or around you, you have a choice. You have a choice. Choose not to be pulled into dramas, bickering, or energies that are just going to limit your joy. If you're surrounded by people who are hostile towards you or someone else, or you are in a negative situation, perhaps in your workplace, you're being invited to be the light. You are an incredible person who can really bring light. So the question is that how do you do that though? How do you be the light in those situations, right? Yeah. I think it depends a lot on what your gifts are, and what you feel comfortable with, right? Yeah, there's one situation that I very seldom sit on my hands and be quiet. Yeah, believe that or not, is that when there's bullying going on, whether it's between children or between adults or anything like that, it's I'm a triple Sag, so sometimes I can be kind of blunt. And so, to the bully, I'm very blunt in saying, I don't think that's appropriate, or, that's just not right. You can see what's going on here. You don't have to be that negative. You don't have to be. You can choose not to be, and the person who is getting bullied, is letting them know that somebody is there, even if we're just standing next to each other, is all. And letting them know that they're not in that alone, right? Because one of the things that I learned a long time ago is that by your silence, many people will take that as an agreement, that you agree with what's being done. And so whether you do it through your behavior or you do it through a verbal statement is to let them know that you don't agree. You don't agree. And there again, discerning for yourself what is safe for you and what needs to be said, and using your voice when it's appropriate to use your voice. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Rob is saying I beat the storm home last night. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Hey, Rochelle Ashley's here. Good to see you, Rochelle. She says sunny and 45 degrees in Colorado Springs. Yeah, I'd take that in a heartbeat. Stephanie's saying pretty warm up here in Alamos, Colorado too. Was -4 last night. Yikes! 2 people from Colorado in the house. Yeah, Rochelle is saying yes, below freezing here last night as well. Yeah, Colorado. I'm going to Colorado next September with Minnie Kansman. Yes, and her new business, nature travel adventures. Yes, I can't wait. Can't wait to enjoy and see the places that Minnie holds dear to her heart in Colorado. And so she's taking 8 or 9 people, I think it is. And yeah, I can't wait. I've got a whole year, or okay, not quite, 10 months to figure out mom's care and get that all lined up. And so, yeah, I can't wait to go Colorado. And so Kyle goes on to say is that know also that you are being encouraged to shine the light you were born to share. When we are using our gifts that we came in with and supplementing them with the classes that we've taken, the tools that we've learned how to use, the skills that we've learned in different classes that we've taken, when you put it all together, we do shine from the inside out. Why? Is because we're doing our soul work. We're actually living our life being led by our heart, by our soul, and that we have a balance between our head and our heart, right? So it's good stuff. It really is. Now, this card, the White Witch, represents the purity of the triple goddess, right? And the connection that she has to all things on earth. Yeah. So we have another card and another day that's talking about us using our gifts, shining our light, being that light in the darkness, right? Yeah. So, there again, I think we're on a theme because we started this, on Saturday? On Saturday, and the message has been pretty much the same, is using our gifts. It was identifying our heart's desire, healing those aspects so that we can attain that heart's desire by having more access to our gifts. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is really cool. Okay. Many is saying 9. 9 is the magic number. Yes. The people on the trip. Yeah. Rochelle's going, yippee. I know I get to experience it. Right. And Stephanie's asking, Minnie, please send me info. I'd love to join you all on the Colorado trip. And Minnie's saying, sorry, Stephanie, the trip is full, but I can put you on the wait list in case there's a cancellation. That's perfect. Good one. Good one. All right. The second card that came. Now, wait till you see this guy because he's getting quite familiar. He's back. The Fire Guardian. I think this makes like 3 days in a row, doesn't it? The Fire Guardian. Obviously, he's got something very important to impart to us. Because he talks, this is the representation of the fire element, the fire within. And, we always say this is, notice what he's holding above his hand is an orb, and inside the orb is a tetrahedron, a triangle, which is one of the platonic solids that represents fire. Yeah. He's getting so familiar. He's like one of the family, right? The message is ignite your passion. Ignite your passion. And yesterday we were talking about there's many different ways of interpreting passion. And bottom line, though, is about creation. We need that passion to create and to procreate. and to be able to master our inner fire. For those of us who have a lot of it, it has taken us a while to really harness the positive benefits of having so much fire. And for those who have very little fire, it does take even more energy to be able to stoke that fire, right? In a balanced way, So, so the inner fire with the fire guardian, and when we've had him in different combinations with other cards, when he's combining the essence of this card with the White Witch and talking about shining our light, right? What I understand, or what I got this morning when I sat and thought about this just a little bit, I was thinking that fire can be also very purifying. We use it many times in space clearing to purify a space. It's big medicine, right? I've used the fire ceremony in really large buildings, mansion kind of homes, or public kind of places like theaters and that sort of thing. And so the fire purification literally burns away any lower vibrational energy. And so when I was thinking about this, the combination of these two cards is that in order for us to shine our light and to use the gifts that we came in with, we have to do a lot of healing. And we also have to walk away from lower vibrational experiences that try to pull us into those dramas, right? And so the fire element, our inner fire, can help us to burn away the interference. It's like a space clearing. Okay. When we call on our spiritual team to assist us, to help us, and using the element of fire to be able to remove the interference. Because even though we may leave the situation, remove ourselves, right? There's residual energy. And so we want to clean that up. We want to make it as clean as possible and as gracefully as possible. And the fire element can actually help us to do that. Yeah, it can. I gotta scroll down a little bit. I'm getting behind in what's going on in the chat. Right. Hey, Maggie's with us too. Good to see you, Maggie. She's going, hi, it's a zoo around here. Oh no. And Julie's saying, interesting that the picture of the White Witch shows a barn owl, not the great horned owl. That's right. The barn owl is becoming a very scarce as people are taking down their barns, changing their habitat, right? Changing their habitat. And that kind of goes along with what the message is. The message was about removing yourself from lower vibrational or energy experiences. And so when you're removing something, you have to find a different way of being, right? Even if it's subtle. The barn owl is very resourceful. Yes, they do live in barns, but there's other buildings that they can live in. Yeah. Like pole buildings. I mean, how many times have you walked into a pole building and found an owl sitting up in one of the eaves, or the park buildings, those open buildings, shelters? Yeah. I think one of my sisters, I think it was Teresa, was doing some pictures at a park, and there was a barn owl sitting up in the eaves of a shelter. Yeah. So that even kind of goes along with what Spirit's telling us is that we have to remove ourselves from certain situations, um, and adapt. Yeah. When we're using that fire element to burn away that residual energy, that's a lower vibrational energy, um, that's big medicine. It really is. And so when we're using it, our inner fire to do that, much of that has to do with your healing work. Your healing work, yeah. And Julie goes on to say is that, oh yeah, we talked about him on Saturday. Yeah, we did. We did. We talked quite a bit about him actually. And she says that I have 3 planets in Sag and Sag ascendant. I'm fired up. Yeah, so am I. Quadruple. I think they're the one, Julie, who told me that I had quadruple fire. Mm-hmm. Yep. So no matter if you have an abundance of fire or if you have, not as much fire, no matter what, we have to learn how to wield it as gracefully and appropriately as possible, balanced. And so sometimes you have to kindle that fire a little bit and get it blazing, right? That's your inner fire. Not only does that inner fire can help you with space clearing, that residual energy out, but it's also about your passion, right? We talked about this on Saturday, is that passion for your heart's desire. What is that? We've talked about heart desire now this is the 4th day. Is that if you haven't identified it, is to spend a little time to identify what is it that I really, really wish? What do I really, really want? And you might not have ever said it out loud to anybody because, one, don't want to jinx it, right? Or if you say it to somebody, then that means you have to do something about it, right? Because now somebody else knows. But it's your heart's desire, and your heart's desire won't come into the physical world unless you're passionate about it. And that's where that fire comes from your internal fire for that passion. Yeah. We talked about our gifts and how when we're passionate about our gifts that we came in with, that we actually use them more often, that we actually learn how to master them. We remember how to use them to their fullest extent, And honestly, I know probably less than a handful of people who would honestly say that they're in the midst of using their gifts at 100%. There's not that many people who do. There's a few. I'm not saying that they're not present. So we have some work to do. And that is your personal healing work. Yeah. To clean up that debris, that interference. And you know what? We have that inner fire that can help us do that. All right. So let's read a little bit about the fire guardian just to see, refresh our memory of what Kyle Gray says about it. The message is connect with your desires. The sparks could lead to something beautiful. The fire guardian represents the angels of fire. Fire is the energy that many people are afraid of but shouldn't be. Burning desires can lead to great expansion. Allow the fire guardian to help you awaken a wilder side of yourself and burn away any fear or shame that stands between you and your desires. When this card appears, you are reminded that passion is powerful and absolutely encouraged by spirit. Okay, George is sound asleep. Okay. He can't fit underneath my chair anywhere, but he's as close as he can get to it. And I hear this thump, 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 thump. But he's sleeping, He's dreaming. And you can tell he's a happy boy because in his dreams, he's wagging his tail. How cute is that? He's wagging his tail in his dreams while he's dreaming. Yeah. Julie is saying, our gifts are forged in fire. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And if you know anything about metallurgy or creating knives and swords, you know that once they're fired, they have to be quenched. And when they're quenched in oil, and it kind of burns the steel to a really um, hard blade, a hard blade. So it holds the sharpness for longer periods of time. Yeah. Fire is the crucible then? It can be. Not necessarily so, but it can be one of them. Yeah. Rochelle says, sounds like what you and I were talking about. Yes, it does, Rochelle. Absolutely it does. Absolutely. So when you have this heart's desire, and to bring it onto the physical plane, you have to have emotion behind it. And where's that emotion? It could be your inner fire. It could be that passion about what you're manifesting and trying and wanting to bring onto the earth plane. It's that passion, it's that emotion that literally catapults that into the physical plane, onto the physical plane. And so that inner fire is it can do a lot of things for us. We just have to remember how to wield it. Lynn Anderson learns, hey, hello there. Very called to Native spirits. My great grandfather settled next to the Native reservation that became extinct. What state was that in, Lynn? I'm curious. Which state was that in? Because I have a map here, and Native American maps, and Aaron. What was Aaron's last name? I forget. It wasn't Campbell. I lost his last name. But anyway, he does really, really good maps, very close to being accurate in where the original ancestral homes are of the indigenous nations on Turtle Island. So I'm curious which state that your great grandfather settled in. Maggie says, had an owl in my truck once. That must have been interesting. Oh my gosh. You know, how'd you get him out? I just left the doors open, right? Yeah. Yeah. And Stephanie is welcoming Lynn to Star Nations. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, that's the question. Okay. Well, tell me what state, and I will look it up on my map here and put it in the comments for you after the show. How's that? Okay. Um, Maggie's laughing. Well, I'm curious. How'd you get him out of your truck? Yeah. Oh, you're Maggie's probably laughing about George. Yeah, wagon dreams. Yeah, yeah. You know how dogs sometimes you can see them, running in their, in their dreams and that kind of thing because their feet are moving. Well, he wags his tail, so you can tell he's a happy boy. Yeah. Yeah. Tail wagging dreams must be good ones. I think so. Really plain. And Julie says, so anointing with oil is the acknowledgement of healing work, of internal transformation. It very well could be. It very well could be. I do know that quenching knives or swords in water doesn't help. It actually weakens the metal. They usually try to quench in oil. Yeah. Okay. Lynn is saying Minnesota. All right. So Minnesota was really hundreds of years ago, was the Osheti Sakoi, which is the Great Sioux Nation. And they have, is it seven? I think it's seven bands that make up the Great Sioux Nation. And they covered almost entirely Minnesota area at one time until the Ojibwa Nation, the Anishinaabe Nation, moved west of the Mississippi. And then they started settlement along the northeastern part of Minnesota. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, the map. I just can't really see because it's such small lettering. It looks like it says Dakota on it. So, but I will take a look and put it in the comments after the show. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Ann's here too. Hey, Ann. Good to see you. So glad you're in the chat with us. And Julie saying hi to Lynn. There you go. Thank you, Aaron Carapella. I can see his name, Aaron, but I couldn't read his last name on the map from here. Carapella. Yes, he's really knowledgeable in his maps, and he actually sells them, Lynn. He sells them. I bought this one and got it framed for the academy here, and yeah, and he actually has maps that are kind of focused in on different aspects of the United States, Turtle Island, and kind of breaks them out so you can really see more clearly, where certain people ancestral lands were at. So you might want to take a look at him. Aaron Carapella. Thank you, Julie, for putting it in there. Maggie saying she picked up the owl. Oh, good for you. Not sure if I would have been that brave. All right. And so Lynn is saying, and so was a reason I came today. Absolutely. Right time, right place, huh? Right time, right place. Yeah. Oh, the owl was a baby. Oh, that makes a big difference. I would pick the baby up for sure. Not sure how it got in. Don't know either. Maybe it was raining or something. It was looking for a dry place to be. All right. So the year would have been 1853. So looking at the map now, it probably was the Dakota or the Ojibwa, Anishinaabe. Yeah, but we'll make sure. Double check it. Thank you for the suggestions. You're welcome. And thank you, Stephanie, for putting in the tribalmaps.com for Aaron's website. All right. So when we have this particular card here, right? It's the Fire Guardian. Kyle says, you're being guided by your angels to connect with the power energy of desire at this time. If you have, if you are in a relationship, this card could indicate a great spiritual and sexual connection. It could be, but I really do think that when we have it with this particular card, we're talking again about our gifts. We're talking about how to use our gifts so that we're glowing. We're shining our light. Yeah. And that we are consciously aware of when we are in a energy that is a lower vibrational energy, and that we have to make the decision. We have a choice. Do we stay or do we go? Do we try to change it, transmute it? Many of us here at Star Nations, especially seeing those in the chat, are empathic. They're empaths. And when you're an empath, it's one of the gifts of that is to actually be able to transmute the energy in space. Yeah, because you can sense it. You can feel it. You can go to the root of it and actually clear it, remove it. And all you have to do is walk into the space is all. It's actually quite a gift. And so, yeah, I think that's what that is all about, is being able to remove that debris through our own personal healing so that we have more access to our gifts and that we are using our inner fire to use our gifts. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Rochelle says around 1853 would also have been the Dakota until they continued moving west, and of course the public hangings of those who were left. Right? Yeah, Dakota 38. That's coming up. Dakota 38 plus 2, I think that is, and yeah, not many people know about that, right, Rochelle? Dakota 38. In fact, there is a really good film, and we've shown it before through Star Nations about the Dakota 38. And it's on YouTube. Maybe we can get the link for you guys, and you can, if you're not familiar with the history, it's a really good film that talks about the history of it and how it affects Native people today, especially the Dakota. The Osheti Sakoi. Yeah. And Lynn is saying, she's saying, I'm getting so much sadness for the people that were near the farm when I meditate that it has to be cleared. Yeah. Well, actually, and some of that, Lynn, is also you doing your own ancestral healing, because I'm sure that there was some issues and some things going on within the family and with their neighbors, and yeah, so you can actually do some healing around it for both you and your ancestors, and your descendants as well. Yeah. Yeah. So Rochelle, yeah, because I'm looking at the map right now, and the biggest portion of that area is the Dakota, but I don't know the date. I can't see the date on it from here. But 1853 certainly helps with trying to pinpoint, right? All right, so we have these two cards here. And it's all about shining our inner light, our soul. And whenever we use our gifts, when we make application in the physical plane, people can sense it. They can see it because there is an inner glow. There's also a higher vibration, and it's joyful, right? So, yeah, that's what I think is going on with these two cards today. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Here we go. Thank you, Stephanie. God, you're so good at this stuff. She has the full Dakota 38 documentary listed here. If you have the time and the inclination to learn a little bit about the history of the U.S. and the indigenous people, it's a good film. It's a good film. There's some of the young people in that film that, sad to say, I felt when I heard about it, it was like, oh man, there's at least one or two of the people who are in this film who have committed suicide since then. So, but it really does help frame and focus what history, what happened to the people of Turtle Island, and this is just one incident. So yeah, if you get some time to be able to watch it, I think it really will be helpful to those who are not familiar with the history of Abraham Lincoln, the truth about him, and also the indigenous people in North Dakota. So, okay. So anything that you heard here today, right? You know the drill, that if it resonates with you, yay, pick it up, embrace it, use it. Watch how the energy flows for you today, or has flown. That, the information, is it usable? Is it helpful? That's always a great element in discerning, isn't it? When you can sense and feel that something resonates with you. Which is a really good question, I think, is that when you're discerning, when you're trying to figure out, who's on first and what's really going on here, to discerning, how do you know when you've got something in front of you and you think, oh, okay, that either that's not the truth, or that doesn't resonate, that doesn't feel right. How does it not feel right to you? Do you feel it in your body? Do you have this thought come to you? How do you discern? How do you know when you've discerned something for yourself? I'm interested. If you guys could put something in the chat, um, because I think that when we're consciously aware of our life and our walk here, that we really do need to understand that part of ourselves. When something just doesn't feel right, something's wrong with this picture, kind of thing, right? Um, how does that happen for you? How do you know? I think that's a really good it's a really good tool to really get to know, and to really hone it, to really sharpen it. Because there's what it does is, when you're able to use it quite well, is that you don't waste your energy. You don't place your energy someplace that is going to suck it dry, rather than to support you and to lift your energy. It actually tries to bring you down and use your energy, right? And so when we can discern it, and we get pretty good at it, we don't necessarily spend a lot of time and energy on that. We remove ourselves, or we transmute it, we change it, and use our energy differently. So, yeah, I'm just curious for those in the live chat, to share something about that. And as we wait, because there's a little bit of a delay, about 5 to 15-second delay. Lynn says, inner voice, when I listen. Yeah, that's the key, isn't it? When I listen, that inner voice. Every time I've not heeded that inner voice, I've been wrong 100% of the time. And so I learned. And even today, sometimes when something happens, sometimes it's like, I don't know, I could probably really help with that. Even though I have my platter, not my plate, my platter is really full. It's like, I add one more thing on there. And when my team says no and I do it anyway, I end up, I was going to say wasting time, wasting energy. I do. Yeah. And Stephanie's got in there. You want to know more about discernment. Oh, good one. Excellent. Lynn says, on a quest. Absolutely. Julie's saying, this is good info. I have to run. Okay. Thanks for being here, Julie. Have a good rest of the day. So if it resonated with you, any of the information that was shared today, please just see how it goes for you. Notice it. Are you a direct participant or a witness to it? And either way, we're learning something from it, right? Either way. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. No worries. Just let it lie. It wasn't for you. You can walk away from it. Or you can share it with somebody that you know that would be interested in the information or the conversation. You could do that. But with that, I wanted to remind you about what's coming up this week for Star Nations. Tomorrow, Terrific Tuesday, we have Polyjola Bay on at noon, and that would be noon Eastern time. I want to see, do I still have hers up here? Maybe not. I'm trying to remember what her show is going to be about. Calming the waters of stress. There it was. Because of the time of year, we're heading into the heart of the holy season, right? And it's just a lot of stuff going on. And sometimes we just kind of get kind of caught up in it. So her show is all about easing the stress around this time of year. It's going to be a good one. And then, of course, the afternoon live stream, which would be this show, at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then my weekly show at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Unity Breath meditation. And that's all about love, getting our frequency to love. And it's all about Grandmother Earth and Grandfather Sky. So if you have time to join me for that, I would love it. So because the more people who have in the frequency of love, we can shift a lot of things in a good way. So yeah, that would be great. And on Wednesday is Polly Jo LeBay's back with Soul Connections at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that is an hour of healing and divine messages. So if you're a light worker, an energy worker who hasn't spent much time on their own inner work, Wednesday nights is set up just for us. And so come and join us with that. On Thursday, it's Elder Day here at Star Nations. Our elders have their shows on the last Thursday of every month. And so Constance Shearwater is the host of Spiritual Mysteries of Life. And let me tell you, I get to produce her show, so I get front row seat. And I always have something to take notes with, because she always says something that's kind of like, I didn't think of it that way. It's insightful, and then that evening at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Mystery School. And that's with Carl and Orchard Franklin. And since I'm producing that show, I also add my 2 cents in every once in a while. And their show is about the true blessing of St. Nicholas. It's a good one. I love hearing the story and how Carl applies those blessings to modern day. Yeah. So join us, huh? Join us for any one of those. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. And Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Okay. Love you guys.